Busick, Debit and ATM Product Manager for TMG. I've been here 14 years, and in that time, a lot has changed in the payment industry. I can remember before I started and what types of payments that I was using. And from what I can remember, it was mostly cash. Cash or, for smaller purchases, and as the purchase got bigger, I'd more than likely write a check. And what I see now, and mostly in my own personal and around the industry, is that millennials and people in the industry use credit and debit cards more and more as their form of payment. So I would be interested to see what my coworkers have to think. So now I'm here with one of my coworkers, Paul. How would you say you typically pay for items?
My wife and I put everything on our credit card.
What about like small purchases? Everything credit cards, even under $5?
I use my credit card every time I can, basically.
So I know you don't typically pay with cash, but when you do, where would you normally pay?
Mostly places that will only take cash.
Which payment method do you think is more secure?
I feel like my credit card is secure. I've been using it for years and I've only had a problem.
So when you make payments, what do you use? Cash, check, credit card, debit card?
Yeah, so I would say majority of the time I use my debit card. Very rarely, about one payment a week, I use a check, and then I very rarely use my credit card.
So do you ever use cash, or do you just the one time you
Yeah,
make a
so
check payment?
Very
you can't use
rarely
cash?
I use cash. I would say if I'm traveling, I always make for sure I have a couple extra forms of cash.
How often would you say that you pay with your debit or credit card?
Probably at least 2 transactions a day, if not more on the weekend.
So which form do you think is more secure?
I would probably say that I think my credit card is probably the most secure form. It has that EMV in it, whereas my debit card does not currently have that.
Well, I'm here with Deb to talk about payments. And Deb, how do you typically make payments?
I typically use my credit card most of the time. I've kind of got a routine of a schedule down now that I kind of know when I'm going to need cash, and I just get it once a week. I usually carry around anywhere from $20 to $50.
Is that mostly just for like the small purchases that come up throughout the
Yes.
week? How often do you think that you pay cash? I mean, is it really just for the one time a week? that
I
the
would
market
say
is?
maybe twice a week.
What would you say that your most used form of payment is?
I would say it'd be my debit card, even though I prefer cash. I'm still pretty old school, so I still record all my receipts. And so when you use cash, you don't need to keep the receipts at all. So
Okay.
less paperwork.
Is there any reason you prefer your debit card over your credit card?
Yeah, again, I just like it's to me a little more simple. Just takes it right out of the checking account and you're done.
Do you think one form of payment is more secure than the other?
Say cash is probably least secure. It's just sitting there in your wallet for something to grab.
So you say that you prefer cash. How much would you say you have right now?
I have about just over $10, so.
So not a lot of big
Yeah,
purchases.
I can
in
buy
the
lunch.
future. You can buy lunch. Well, that's. How do you typically pay?
With my credit card.
Is that an always thing? You look pretty confident there.
Always.
Always?
Yes,
Is there
always.
any particular reason?
It's easy. I never really ever get cash out. I rarely have more than $1 in cash.
So I know that you typically always pay with your credit card, but are there instances when you do have to pay with cash?
Yes. A lot of times where I go to like sporting events or if I go downtown, I get cash out.
What do you think do you find that credit cards or cash or debit cards be more secure versus one or the other?
I guess for me it's more of, am I going to lose my credit card versus like secure as in electronic security? So if I'm going downtown, I'll get cash out because I feel more secure losing $40 in cash than losing my credit card.
I'd like to ask you about how you typically make payments for the purchases.
Pretty much use a debit card for everything.
Really? Yeah. So why is that?
It's just convenience.
Convenient.
Yeah. Don't have to carry around a bunch of cash. Don't have any change floating around in my pockets. It's clean. Just pull it out and insert or swipe.
Where would you typically use cash?
So if I'm downtown and I have to pay a meter fee, paying for parking. If you go over to a friend's house and everybody's chipping in for pizza, you're not gonna slide a card somewhere there.
Right.
But that's pretty much about it for me, really. Otherwise, everything's done with my card.
Perfect. Do you find that one form of payment's more secure than the other?
I mean, cash is pretty secure because you have it in hand and you know what you've got. But I mean, really, it for me falls back to convenience.
Great, thanks Josh, thanks for speaking with me.